Hello everyone, my name is Rachel and I am your host here at Barely Bookish. Welcome to the very first episode. I hope you are as excited as I am because I am very excited, so hopefully you are also very excited. Today we are going to be reading Pride and Prejudice. Small spoiler alert, I absolutely love this book and I hope you will love it as much as I did. Check us out, enjoy this little read along, and hopefully you will enjoy listening to as many classics as I enjoy reading them. For those of you who haven't listened to the trailer yet, this podcast is about classic literature and modern classics. Basically every book that someone comes up to you and says, oh, you like books? How have you not read that yet? That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about them. Are they worth reading? I think Pride and Prejudice definitely was, but some of them maybe not. So buckle up, enjoy, and yeah, welcome to Barely Bookish. Hello everyone, and we're discussing Pride and Prejudice today. I have a wonderful guest, Amanda, here.
Hi everybody.
So we're going through Pride and Prejudice. This is very spoiler inclusive, so if you haven't read the book yet, stop the episode and start reading because you will get spoilers, and nobody wants that. So we'll just start right into it with chapter 1. So the first note that I wrote, which, you can really see my inexperience of the book itself, is some man is single, so all the neighborhood ladies thinks he needs a wife. He's also got lots of money. And then second note, his name is Bingley, which is how I pronounce it. Is that how you pronounce it as well?
Yep, Bingley.
Okay.
Bingley.
Okay.
I still don't understand how you made it this far in life without knowing anything about Pride and Prejudice.
I don't know either. I have distinct memories of Pride and Prejudice zombies coming out and me going, what is that? What is Pride and Prejudice? What does it have to do with zombies? I was so shaken. I was like, what is this? What could it possibly be? Because I knew Pride and Prejudice my brain just told me that is some boring classic literature novel. And that's all I knew. So I was like, how are we getting from 1800s Europe to zombies?
And I'm assuming, obviously, we haven't read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies yet.
No, I have not. I didn't even know there was a book. I just knew there was a movie.
Wait until you get to Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters.
Oh, I need that in my life. I need to find that. I need to buy it.
Somebody redid the entire Jane Austen line with fantasy. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I have to look into that because that sounds fantastic. I want it. I need all of them. I hope that they have like very H.P. Lovecraft type covers, like those class. Oh yes, that's next. So then they go on to say that his fortune is 4,000 or 5,000 a year, and I know that that's not modern money, so I kind of roughly looked at the conversion, and so they didn't say how much Bingley made, but Cliff Notes told me that apparently that Mr. Bennet makes 160 grand a year in like US dollars, which to me that's a lot of money. And that's like mid class. But Darcy makes $800,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's so much money. I was okay when we were watching the movie. I was looking at the just scale of houses, and not to get too far into the movie, but like I thought in my head that Elizabeth and the Bennets were like middle class. They make them look so poor in that movie. I was like, okay, maybe they're not middle class, but like 160 is middle class, right?
In our life, 160 is like middle class. You have to think about how the dollar was so different back then. So they were buying clothes for pennies. But then also think about when they originally like Longbourn and stuff, it was not intended for 5 non-thrift spending little girls.
That's true.
So if they'd had a different household in there, it would have looked higher class than it probably was. But they certainly, I mean, if you look at their house in the movie, it makes them look poor. But if you look about the way they were treated in the neighborhood, they're certainly, you know, one of the top ranked families. Yeah. So for the area they live in, they're definitely upper middle class.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then they like
compared to Darcy.
Yeah, Darcy's like, you guys are poor, and I'm like, are they? Are they? I'm like, I would like to have that much money, but you know, okay.
No kidding.
I know, and like I'm looking at their house, and I'm like, this is a gigantic house, but also like they have animals roaming all around. So I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, I think my head was like, okay, maybe he was rich at one point, and then like with that amount of kids, you know, as you said, and like Lydia and Kitty are ready to spend the fortune all the time.
But you also, I mean, not thinking about the movie, if you think about in the book, the way they're talked about in the book, you know, I'm perfectly able to keep a cook. They've got maids, they've got servants, they've got a carriage, which they were talking about, you know, the other houses in the neighborhood that don't have carriages, whereas they do have a carriage. So there are indications, at least in the book, about what their class level looks like. It's just nowhere near compared to what Darcy's class level looks like.
I guess my brain is thinking probably it's like country wealth, you know, which is very different than like city wealth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like they don't have a house in town, whereas Darcy's got 2 houses in town, you know? So
to be as rich as Darcy.
Oh, who you telling?
I was just dying when I was trying to imagine it in my head, like his library. I was like, it's expansive, and then like, and they come to the movie, and I'm like, that felt right. That hit right. So then, Miss Bennet wants her husband to go see Bingley, so that he can send the girls over to meet him, and that's where chapter 1 ends. So I only have one note for chapter 2. Mr. Bennet told his family that he actually met with Mr. Bingley after being very sarcastic about it to Miss Bennet for a long time. Their relationship dynamic is very interesting to me.
And I think he stuck with her. You know, divorce is not something that, you know, they do. It's just not something that's done. You know, so I think, especially the way they describe her, she was a beautiful woman, was able to catch in that point in time, you know, a high middle class man, and then the beauty fade away, and he's left with this woman that he has absolutely no interest in whatsoever. I know.
Yeah, and she's very high strung, and like her emotions are all over the place, and she cares about things that he does not care about at all. And I was just like, oh geez, this is like, you guys are not a good match.
I think she's my least favorite character out of the whole. Even, you know, like Wickham and Lydia. I know most people Wickham and Lydia, but Mrs. Bennet is certainly my least favorite.
I think she's my least favorite too. I mean, her and Caroline are like neck and neck to me.
Caroline.
I hate Caroline so much. I find her so annoying. I mean, I simultaneously also feel bad for her because she has like, what is that? Unrequited?
Unrequited lust. Yes, but it's not even love. It's money hunger. She's got unrequited greed is what she's got. It's not even. She's not like she's in love with Darcy. So
true. I think she just wants the convenience of someone she already knows, who she knows is wealthy, as well.
Yeah. He would greatly raise her standing in society, and that's all she cares about.
Yeah, for sure. She follows him like a little puppy dog too, and doesn't have anything to add to the conversation. I'm like,
yeah, no, she's annoying.
Yeah, when they wrote, not to really go back to the movie, but when they wrote out Bingley's other sister, I was like, oh yeah, she did not add anything to the book at all. No. To the 2005 movie. I was like, I didn't even notice that she was gone. It's not like there was any major plot point that she was in that I was like, oh no, she can't be out of the movie. I was like, whatever.
All she did was give Caroline somebody who would agree with her no matter what Caroline said.
Yeah, which she didn't. They don't need that.
No.
Okay, so in chapter 3, Mr. Bingley is going to the next party, which means every single person in the entire village is going to be there because they want money and to meet a new interesting person. Mr. Bingley returned the visit that Mr. Bennet had paid to them and paid a visit to the Bennet house in the hopes of taking a peek at the girls because he heard they're beautiful, but he didn't get to see them on the first visit. The Bennets invited him to dinner, but Mr. Bingley had to reject because he had to go to town, which in this case, town is London. Mm-hmm. Mr. Bingley also brought his relatives to the party, and someone named Mr. Darcy, which is exactly what my notes say, which everyone is into. In the first initial visit, everyone's like, ooh, who's this? He makes a lot of money. I love reading my old notes because I'm like, oh, it's someone named Mr. Darcy. I'm like, the best person this entire series, besides the Queen Elizabeth herself.
Best person in the world. I mean, Darcy is just
unparalleled. Yes. I love how awkward he is. It's my favorite.
Oh my God. He's so like grown up, and at the same time he's so stuck as like a 4-year-old little boy, and the contradictions to his personality are fantastic.
I think too it plays into the fact that like he's never had to work for someone to care about him. Like he's always just had people care about him. It's always been easy to him. So now he's like, ooh, how do you do that?
Yep.
Which I think I think Jane Austen did really, really well is that play on how do you get someone when you've never had to try at anything.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she did an amazing job with that.
And I also found it fascinating, and I'm jumping ahead probably, that they have to, in that day and age, you know, you basically got to know each other after the wedding, you know, because there was no one-on-one time. There was no going out for dates and stuff. There was going to balls with the entire county there. And I love how all of Darcy's friends and relatives talk about what a great person he is, but because he's so uptight, she doesn't see that until after they quarrel, until after they both see that the worst in their personalities, at which point he finally thaws and we see all the good qualities of Darcy. I like how they've got to come to blows emotionally before we finally see him let down some of that guard.
Yeah, the original enemies to lovers.
Yes. It's the original trope.
I know. I've never been a huge enemies to lovers kind of person, and then I was like, I've changed my mind as soon as I started reading this.
But I think because the slow burn is real.
Oh yeah, you're like, what's because most books you're like, you know, you're trying to get you try to get from point A to like kiss scene. This one you're like, they touched hands.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. Pride and Prejudice is considered one of the, if not the best romance novels in the entire world, and they don't kiss once.
Yeah.
You know, there's no physical intimacy whatsoever.
Yeah. And it's like anytime they have a long glance, you're like, oh my gosh, they stared at each other. And it's like, in every other like modern day book you're reading it and you're like, oh, they looked at each other, so what? But like in Pride and Prejudice, every long look you're like,
I know, panting, let's cool down.
I know. This made me love slow burns now. I'm like, never was a person I was like, just get to it. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, if they look at each other, I'm just gonna cry for 20 minutes. And I'm like, there's no love like Darcy and Elizabeth's love, you know?
I do know, yeah.
So this is where they find out that Darcy is loaded and he makes $10,000 a year, which is, as I said, the $800,000 in like US dollars. And then my next note is apparently he has very bad manners, though. Little did I know. Mr. Darcy doesn't want to dance with someone unless he knows them, and apparently that was frowned upon, which, you know, I get it now.
Well, if Mr. Darcy were alive in this day and age, he'd be the ultimate millennial. I mean, he's got anxiety issues, he's got crowd issues, he's from a wealthy family, so he's got all the manners, but he need to pop a Xanax before he goes to every ball.
I'm imagining Mr. Darcy talking about his CBD oil routine.
Yes. And except he's too well bred to mention he has to do that to anybody.
That's true. But he has like a Finsta, where he like does CBD oil and then also those like color, what are those? The adult coloring books. He has a lot of those.
He's got to be OCD out the road. Everything is fastidiously organized. If he walks by his desk and the quill is not completely straight, he's one of those that's got to stop and reline up everything on his desk again. Oh yeah, he's got to be totally OCD. Absolutely.
Now I'm just imagining him, and it's like someone that you'd definitely like be an online friend with, but you'd never see in person ever.
Yes, I can almost see him with a really strong World of Warcraft, at night, and in the dark room where he doesn't have to physically interact with anybody. Oh, I could totally see Darcy being a PC gamer.
That, and like he has a very detailed like book collection in which everything is like annotated, and he definitely writes very controversial blog posts about them.
Yes. Oh, he's definitely a pot stirrer, but under a fake name.
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody can know that Darcy of Pemberley, heir of Pemberley Industries, is the one that's out there trending right now. Totally deep cover.
Yeah, he's the original Anon.
Yes.
That's what I want, a modern day retelling, but specifically everything we just mentioned. Hello everyone, a brief pause as I tell you something very, I can't even say important. Basically, this discussion just spiraled into a discussion about modern day retellings, and I mentioned how I read a retelling of Phantom of the Opera, and I had never seen the actual Phantom of the Opera, so I enjoyed the book. It was a very good book, but I never watched or read or anything. I don't have any idea what the original text is, the original plot. So that's kind of where you're missing, because it's probably about 10 minutes of me looking like a fool. So, there's that. So we're going to jump right back in here.
Never seen Phantom of the Opera.
Honestly,
Gerard Butler singing.
I don't know how. My sister likes musicals too, and I still haven't watched any of them.
Okay, well that's going on the Rachel needs to watch now list.
I haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird. I haven't read, most of the things that you think everyone has absolutely read in their life, I haven't read it. I read Romeo and Juliet, and that's about it.
Well, at least you've read that. I love Romeo and Juliet. I love Romeo and Juliet. Okay. Pride and Prejudice, because Darcy's calling back to him. I can go on a tangent on classics for hours.
I know. We'll get there. We'll text about it. So, the eldest Bennet daughter, which is Jane, danced with Mr. Bingley twice, and they seemed to really like each other. Little did I know. Also, this is the note I said. I just realized Jane Austen named one of her characters Jane.
It's a very popular name back then.
Yeah, that was my guess, but also I was like, I mean, both of us have pretty common names. So I'm like trying to imagine writing in my book saying someone's name Rachel and not putting all of my personality into that character and be like, no, they're just casually named Rachel, Don't mind me that they're married to Chris Pine. Don't think too hard about that one.
I think when you're writing a book, though, a little bit of your personality goes into every character you write. So it wouldn't be that weird.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like to me, if I ended up naming a character, it would be like one of those Wattpad point of view things where you're like, Harry Styles looks longingly at you.
That's funny.
I'm like, did she just not want Jane to have what she wanted in Darcy? Or Chapter 4, Jane seems to really like Mr. Bingley, but Elizabeth says she likes everyone, which is true. I really don't think Jane has a bad bone in her body. Like, nope. Even when Caroline eventually, shows her true colors, Jane was like, oh, it could be a misunderstanding. I'm like, Jane, honey, like.
Even when Lydia and Wickham ran off after Jane knew everything about Wickham, she's like, but I can't believe the worst of him. I can't believe that this is really what was meant. And I'm like, believe it, sweetheart.
I know. I was like, get it together. Let's go. Like, yeah, she does not want anybody to have a single bad thing. Like, she would not survive well in 2020.
No.
She's way too trusting. She doesn't think, I don't even know. Like, I could not imagine her in modern day because it would not work out well in her favor.
No, it certainly wouldn't.
So Elizabeth does not like Mr. Bingley's sisters as Jane does, which, you know, because Elizabeth is a smart cookie. She thinks they spend too much money and they're conceited. All facts.
Truth.
And the sisters like Jane. Bingley's really interested in her, and Darcy seems to think that she's boring, which is basically Elizabeth's just projecting onto Darcy. Darcy doesn't actually think that.
You know, I think Darcy actually, I think at the very beginning, Elizabeth nails him on the head, but that's those first couple of interactions, but that's just because he's scared and he's nervous. And so to ease above his own fright of being in a crowd with people he doesn't know, he becomes an asshole. Oh, can I say that?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the explicit thing on here so it'll be okay.
He becomes a not very nice person just to try to make himself feel better about being in a crowd. But as he starts to thaw and warm towards her, and the community as a whole, she is still stuck in her first impression.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think I agree with that. Thinking back on it, to be honest, I just think she kind of reads in too much throughout, just like letting him think, like not letting him think, but letting herself think that he's still that same person when he's trying to grow, and she's like, oh, you know, you don't really care and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, chapter 5, the Bennets have the Lucases as their neighbors, and they all meet up a day after the ball to be kind of catty to each other for no real reason. But like, Miss Bennet and Miss Lucas are basically trying to one up each other the entire time that they're there, and like, she's like, "Well, Bingley danced with my daughter for 2 dances," and Lucas is like, "But." You know, my daughter, Charlotte. Bennett's basically saying that Charlotte looks like trash. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, you have to think about it. Charlotte is 27, which in that day and age was like, whoa. And, you know, they're already talking about Jane and them becoming an old maid, and Jane's 21. You know, and they're already making fun of how old she is for not being married. And Charlotte's 27. So
yeah, I read this right after coming off of Gone with the Wind, which trash novel. I don't want to talk about it. I hated it. But I read this after that, and like when they were saying, "Oh, she's 27," I was like, "What?" I think Charlotte was like 17 when she got married, or not Charlotte. Scarlett, that's what I meant. Scarlett was like 17 when she got married, and so when they said Charlotte's 27, I was like, I am confusion. I'm like, is that legal? I was shook. I think there's probably not a lot of people in that town either for them to be.
Oh, Meryton? Yeah.
So I feel like that plays into part of the struggle here. So, chapter 6, Jane and Bingley are low-key starting to fall in love, which I thought was nice. And Charlotte says that Jane needs to tell him that she has feelings for Mr. Bingley so that she can marry him. And Elizabeth says he should figure it out, which we all know boys are not smart.
No.
They're not mind readers.
No.
They do not pick up on context clues if fiction has taught us anything, and if real life has taught us more.
If real life has taught us anything, yeah. All of those memes about when your wife tells you she's fine, that you should run in the other direction.
Yep.
those were built on gospel.
I know. And I was like, I get that whole romantic thing of being like, he should figure it out. No, you gotta tell him. You can't. That's one of those things you cannot like pat around or.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, here's my first starting to like Mr. Darcy. It says, "Ooh, Mr. Darcy is very bad at this. So instead of talking to her, he just listens in on her conversation with others," which annoys Elizabeth.
But it's kind of cute because that's exactly it. He's too afraid to speak up in front of other people, but he wants to act as if he's giving her attention.
Yeah.
So he just stalks her around the ballroom.
I mean, I've definitely done that though. Like I remember like middle school me, whenever I was like wanting to talk to someone or become friends with someone, and instead of actually speaking to them, I would just follow them in their conversations with others and try and find points where I could butt in and talk. Like I have distinct memories of that.
It's actually really funny. I am Bingley. Like I could talk to anybody about anything. I start up conversations with people in grocery stores, and my husband is Darcy.
Really?
Like I will start talking to somebody, and my husband will side eye me like, "Do you have to do this? Really? Come back, stand next to me, protect me from the strangers." Yeah, Thomas and I are Bingley and Darcy as like the perfect couple.
That works though. It's funny because me and my boyfriend are both very shy. So in order for we started dating in high school, so when we started dating, I basically was just like follow, and then I was like I started asking weird and absurd questions to get him to start talking to me. So back to Pride and Prejudice. So Mr. Lucas just essentially called for Darcy to dance with Elizabeth right in front of him because, you know, they're all talking in a circle. And Elizabeth goes, "Absolutely not. No, thank you. You said you don't dance with anybody. I am not interested." It's like, whoa. So, which I'm sure Darcy was just in that moment was like, no, 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 oh no. She has looked at me. She has spoken.
And then he's like, "She just cut me here in front of all these people."
Yeah, he's like, "You know what? I'm just going to go home and I'm just going to cry for 20 minutes. I'm going to eat 8 boxes of ice cream. Don't."
Yeah, poor Darcy.
I'm sure he's like going home, putting on like rom-coms and just crying.
She's pretty savage to him.
I mean, she totally is.
But like the ultimate sap, you know, the meaner he is to her, the more he seems to like her.
Yeah. We love that enemies to lovers.
Well, it's because nobody has looked him in the eye and given him a contradictory word before.
Yeah.
So he thinks that he's perfect because everybody agrees with him. But here's this little nobody who's like cutting him down left and right. And he's like, "What is going on here? I don't understand, but I like it."
Yeah. Have you seen that sound on TikTok where it's like, he goes, "So you ignore me and you hate me and you're just my type." She goes, "Sorry, what'd you say?" And he goes, "Perfect."
I have not seen that, but it's funny.
If I could find it later, I'll send it to you. But yes. That's what I'm imagining for him.
Perfect.
So Darcy just told Bingley's sister, Miss Hurst, that's her name, right?
Yep, Mrs. Hurst.
Yeah, Mrs. Hurst, that he thinks Elizabeth is hot. And I love writing these notes instead of writing like he thinks she's handsome. I'm like he thinks she's hot.
When we're talking about her fine eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, I think it's funny. So in chapter 7, there's now a militia in town, which is the militia like respected like the army, or is it like a weird?
Yeah, it's the army. It's the army.
It is the army. Okay.
Yeah, it's the army. That's the talk about the redcoats.
Yeah.
They're officers in the army.
Oh, does it say redcoats in the U.S. version? Because I had the U.K. version, so it says militia.
Both.
Oh,
both.
Okay.
Yeah. Both. Okay. In my version, at least all the versions I have, it's interchangeable. The militia has come to town. So the militia is like the branch of them is the group. It's a militia group, but they're redcoats, so they're still regular army.
Okay, I wasn't super sure because I was like, is this like a weird branch of like the home group of the army, or is it like actual army? Like, I wasn't really sure. So I didn't know if it was like one of those things where it's like kind of looked down, like you can't make it in the army, so you get in the militia, or
no, militia is just a term for the military.
Oh, okay. So then it's like slightly more respected.
Yeah. Well, we got to remember, not Darcy. Fitzwilliam is in the and he's an earl's son. But the higher ranks at that day and age, they didn't rise up through the ranks. The commissions were bought. So his lieutenancy, his I think he's a lieutenant or a colonel. Maybe he's a colonel.
I thought he was a lieutenant colonel.
There you go. Maybe that's why I couldn't decide between the two. That was bought for him, so his dad bought him his rank.
What do you want for your birthday, son? A car? No, I want to be a lieutenant colonel. Oh, okay. Wild. So one of the Bennet girls is interested in the captain of the militia. Jane is going to Bingley's house again, and the sisters are dining with their brother and Darcy, plus the officers. And this is the point in which Miss Bennet makes Jane go on horseback so that she would have to stay the night, and it downpoured, and then she got sick.
The catalyst for all that comes after.
I know, but I'm just like, with the fact that they don't have good medicine, could you imagine just sending your child out and you're like, they're going to get sick. Fingers crossed they don't die.
But, I mean, as Mr. Bennet said, if Jane dies, it'll be a boon to them to know it was in pursuit of Mr. Bingley. If you're going to die, make sure it's for a good cause.
Yeah, I guess.
Take one for the team, Jane.
As it say, he's got 4 other replacement daughters.
Very true. Very true.
So Jane gets really sick from the rain, which then the romance happens because Elizabeth really wants to see Jane and make sure she's okay, so she starts walking, which apparently is bad. Exercise is frowned upon.
I don't think yes. I mean, getting sweaty and like that. So exercise as we know it was down upon. They are not big on cardio.
She walked, because I guess it was like 3 miles when she walked over there. And then everyone was, as soon as she got in, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she dared to walk. And I'm like, how else is she supposed to get there? She doesn't have a carriage, like, steal a horse. Elizabeth got there, and everyone is absolutely shook that she exercised. Like, Caroline's like, what? And Darcy's like, how did you even get here? Like, walking? What's that? He's like, you didn't get carried and brought by like 18 people in a lifted chair. Elizabeth started as over her stay, because she ends up staying there for a couple days. Elizabeth started to like the Bingley sisters, which at that point I was like, oh, this is good. And then Elizabeth ended up staying the night there. As soon as chapter 8 starts, Elizabeth does not like the sisters anymore. She's like, never mind, I was right. These people are trash. Mr. Bingley, on the other hand, is very nervous for Jane, which I thought was adorable. He was like, oh, is she okay? Checking up on her all the time, like, between Elizabeth and everybody. She's like, oh, is everybody okay? As soon as Elizabeth leaves the room, Miss Bingley starts talking trash about her. She's like, oh, the hemline of her her shirt or dress is what I'm looking for, is 3 inches deep in mud, and she's untidy, she has bad manners, all this kind of stuff.
I think what you were looking for was her petticoat.
There we go.
Petticoat. You're looking for her petticoat.
I know, my brain can't even imagine those kinds of words, because I'm like,
good Lord, Miss Elizabeth, did you walk here?
Oh my goodness.
See her petticoat 3 inches deep in mud. Not that I'm aware of the words or anything by heart at all.
They're like tattooed on your arm. That specific line.
I posted a sarcastic thing in Facebook Saturday night. I said I have to do a podcast for Pride and Prejudice on Monday, and I said, since I haven't read the book at all or seen the movie ever, and I just like went on this big rant about how I've never seen it and how I'm required to stop everything I'm doing and read Pride and Prejudice, so I'm ready for Monday morning. And most everybody knows like my upset, because I post about Pride and Prejudice all the time.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, "You've never read it yet? Oh, you're gonna love it so much." And I'm like, "How are y'all so stupid?" I'm like, I could read you Pride and Prejudice from memory in Klingon.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need to read it right now.
You're like, as soon as those people who are saying that they didn't know you read it, you're like, all right, you're getting the block because you're like, you don't care about me. So Darcy and Bingley are basically like, we thought she was fine, as the Bingley sisters are talking that mad trash. And then my note here is just, the Bingley sisters are trash.
Super trash.
Why you gotta bring down others like that? But I guess they don't have any other form of entertainment. Their life has been a little sheltered.
That has a lot to do with it. And then their family has, because they started out, I mean, they're still in trade. That's how they got their money. So at one point in time, someone in their family went to a shop every day. And now they just have reached the point in the economic food chain where they no longer have to physically work. Somebody does the work for them. So she's gotten a little big for her britches, I think, trying to overcome the fact that she knows that, you know, their money is still in trade. Whereas like Darcy's money isn't in trade. You know, his money comes strictly from his properties.
Mm-hmm. I know, I hate them. So Elizabeth would rather read than play cards, and one of the sisters' husband, Mr. Hurst, did not like that. He was like, "You don't want to play cards? What?" Mr. Hurst was so boring the entire time. I was trying to figure out what Mrs. Hurst saw in him, because I was like, this dude, all he does is play cards, and he doesn't seem to be any, like, he's very vanilla.
Money, 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 money.
Truth.
Money.
Yeah, marrying for money just sounds boring.
Well, at that point in time, that was basically all you could do, was marry for money.
You had to be really pretty and just marry for money.
Yep.
So they all start, okay, this I actually directly quoted. They all start talking about how an accomplished woman must have a thorough knowledge of music, singing, drawing, dancing, and the modern languages, and she has to possess a, quote, certain something, unquote. And Elizabeth says that that's not possible, and their standards are way too high.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can we do any of the things
No,
we can't do any of that. So
yeah, you have to like devote your entire life to each of those things, you know?
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And then what I think was funny, and I've always wondered about this, is she always just agrees with everything Darcy says, you know, because Miss Bingley, because she wants Darcy, so she's just going to agree with everything he says. But she is none of the things he's listing off.
Yeah.
So she's trying to be all superior, but he's not talking about you, girl. And
literally,
I don't think she grasps that concept. You have already admitted in this conversation that you can't do these things. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about what a great woman looks like, but he's not talking about you.
Yeah.
So why are you agreeing with him?
The entire time that she's present, she doesn't draw or sing or anything like that. And I don't think she even dances at the balls or anything. It's not mentioned at all. Mm-hmm. So it's like she doesn't do anything. Like all she does is talk trash.
Yep.
Ugh.
And thinks she's so much better than everybody else.
Yeah, and then, okay, so then the next thing is Miss Bingley literally says that Elizabeth lives to talk trash about other women. And I'm like, she is literally just minding her own business, hanging out, and then they have the audacity to say that, like, she's the one that talks bad about other women.
Yeah, no. Are you so severe in your own sex?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love the direct quotes.
My bad.
No, love to see it. We love to see it. Chapter 9, Elizabeth sent out for her mom in the morning because Jane was starting to get a little worse. And then Jane's still too sick to move. And Miss Bennet shows up and just starts bragging about Jane right now to Bingley. I hate Mrs. Bennet so much. So much.
It's embarrassing. I could take blood, guts. I don't mind any of that in a book, but embarrassment, I hate watching people get embarrassed. It's just, it's awful. And poor Mrs. Bennet, that's all she does is embarrass Jane and Elizabeth.
I know. My secondhand embarrassment was like,
I know. It's cringy. It's so super cringy.
It's like a helicopter parent, you know? You like watch it and you're like, watching those kids just survive. It's like watching like a train crash.
But she's not even a helicopter parent, which makes it so bad.
Yeah.
She's one of those parents that want to be cool in their kids' eyes. And so she's super irresponsible, and she's bringing them beer at 16. And
I also feel like she's the kind of parent that's like basically gets their kid put in all these classes just so they marry rich. And that's it.
Yep.
Chapter 10, Miss Bingley is commenting on the letter Darcy is writing to his sister, and this is so annoying to me. And then this is my first indication. I was like, I wonder if she likes him. I don't know why that was my first indication.
Oh, that Miss Bingley likes Darcy?
Yeah, my first indication was like the point where she's like hovering over him writing a letter. I'm like, oh, do you think she likes him? Like, that was my note. I was like, I wonder if she kind of likes him or something.
We're like 100 pages out of the book by this point. You're just now grasping that concept.
I know. I just thought she's annoying. And then I was like, oh, no, wait. She has a crush on him. Okay.
Oh my God, you're too cute.
I was just like, wow, I hate this girl. Like, she's so annoying. She's like so full of herself. And I'm like, oh, it's a coping mechanism.
Funny.
Yeah, reading back on my notes is like, oh, okay. Wow, I did not pick up on those context clues.
That's hilarious.
So, Elizabeth is starting to, at this point, I thought Elizabeth was starting to realize that he's interested in her. And then the next note goes, oh, wait, she thinks he's watching her because he doesn't like her and she doesn't like him.
Yep.
Like, yeah, okay. He asks Elizabeth to dance, and she says no because she doesn't want to deal with him looking down on her, and he says he wasn't planning on it. And then the next note is, I was right, Miss Bingley does like Darcy. And I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out.
That is so cute. Oh my goodness. Yes. I don't even think she likes Mr. Darcy. She likes Mr. Darcy's bank account.
Yeah. Yikes. Trophy wives.
Hashtag truth.
I will say they did pick a really good actress for her in the 2005 remake.
Oh my God. The remake is almost, except for in a few spots, the script is almost word for word from the book.
Yeah.
Speaking parts.
Yeah.
And the disdain. You could see her.
Oh, I know.
Her nose is so far up in the air. She did such a fantastic job bringing the superiority to Bingley, Mrs. Bingley's character. It's fantastic.
I know, they did such a good job. I was in love with her. Like, the actress playing her. I hate her so much. But, the actress did a phenomenal job.
Yes, she did.
So Caroline Bingley took Darcy for a walk where they ran into her sister and Elizabeth, and they immediately tried to ditch Elizabeth. This is so middle school. Like, I specifically remember this happening to me, where like all your friends would be walking on the sidewalk and they'd be like 3 in a row, and then you'd have to be that one person behind and you'd be like, oh, okay guys, because they won't split off.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow. And Darcy suggests they take a different route to include Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, nope, not interested, and goes inside.
She's like, peace out.
I know, and I was like, let's go, Elizabeth. Like, I feel that. We love to see it.
See, and at that point in time, you could see we can see in his interactions that he's softening towards her. He's thawing towards her. He makes the comments about her eyes, about how, when they're talking about how dirty she looks, and he's like, on the contrary, she looks invigorated. And he thinks he's coming across to Elizabeth and that Elizabeth's coldness is from the sisters.
Yeah.
And in reality, Elizabeth's coldness is like, because I want nothing to do with any of you. And so he just doesn't grasp it. Already at this point in time, he thinks he's like halfway courting her, and she's like, yeah, don't want to be ya.
Yeah, I know. He's like, oh, we're in love. And Elizabeth's like, if you look at me, I swear I will fight you on the spot. And he's like, oh, it's a romance.
Yes, that's it exactly. It's so funny.
But okay, so that's all we're gonna cover for this episode, the first episode of Pride and Prejudice. But Amanda, where can people find you if they want to find you on the internet?
Oh yes, I am all over the internet. I am an author, so my website is amandafaybooks.com. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/AmandaFayeBooks. My username is, if you want to find me personally, is just Amanda Faye or author Amanda Faye. I'm on Amazon, Amanda Faye. All my books are on Amazon, and I have such an obsession with Pride and Prejudice that now it's referenced in every one of my books, and then I almost always have a character named after Pride and Prejudice as well in my book. So if you like Pride and Prejudice, you like what I write.
Yeah, and I'll link all those in the show notes so you guys can find them quickly and easily. But thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who joined me on this episode of Barely Bookish, and thank you so much to Amanda Faye for reading this with me and talking about this with me, and for overall just being the Pride and Prejudice expert. And honestly, just thank you so much for everyone who joined me. If you want to check me out and follow me on all the socials, go at Barely Bookish on everything, including TikTok, if you want to watch my kind of ridiculous videos. I think they're funny. But if you'll think they're funny, it's something else. But thank you all so much for joining me. Our theme song is created by Raphael Crux on freepd.com. Our logo was made by my wonderful little sister, Sarah. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!